Hey guys, guess what? We fucking lost the video. So the first segment of today's podcast will be without video. If you're listening on audio, who cares? But on YouTube, no video. Sorry about that, but it'll be fine. So enjoy the rest of the podcast. Thanks. Hello and welcome to the Any Percent Podcast, the only podcast that discusses the PlayStation 5. My name is Evan Sampson, and I am joined by my two wonderful friends, Kody and Casper. Why don't you guys say what's up?
What's up?
How's it going?
So this episode, as if you're a long-time listener, you'll know the format of our show. But we basically play games, and we try to play as much of it as we can in a given amount of time. We usually have like 2 weeks to play a game, and then we just talk about it, and then we kind of discuss at the end if we think you should play it. Our beautiful listener, our one listener.
Someone's clicking.
At some point I'll stop
clicking.
making jokes
Someone's
about only
clicking.
having one listener. Yeah. So yeah, this week we played BloodRoots, which is a frenetic combat indie game
Yep.
by Paper Cult, and you can play it if you want to play it after you hear this. It's out on PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. It was released earlier this year in February. But yeah, it's a super fun, super high energy, fast paced, one hit, one kill type action game. So we'll talk about it more a little bit later. But why don't we go to beep 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 beep.
Beep, beep, beep. So I think for this one, I didn't have any actual video game industry news stories. But there is something that happened this week. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I see Evan's heard about it. So obviously
Please explain for the audio only
Oh,
listeners.
that's right, of course. So the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S came out on Tuesday, right? And then the PS5 came out Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just figured maybe this episode we could combine Casper's super awesome fun time question with the news, as it were. So I think me and Evan
just do a breakdown on our thoughts on the PS5,
right? Because me and Evan both have a PS5. We were one of the
lucky few.
We prayed to God and we got a PS5. So
so I'll be interrogating these two about it.
Right. Yeah. It's the controller.
That's a beautiful controller. I meant to grab mine before we started, but it's too late. So yeah. The PS5. I can dive in a little bit on my thoughts on the PS5.
Okay.
Them graphics be next gen.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true.
Looks pretty good.
Mhm.
It looks pretty good. I'm playing Spider-Man right now. I just picked it up, and damn, them reflections, them lighting, that ray tracing,
Right.
pretty fire. I will say, not every game needs ray tracing, and not every game looks better with ray tracing.
Right.
So that's just something like everyone's like, so like obviously ray tracing is like an exciting thing, but like I played Demon's Souls too, and it has a ray tracing mode and a non-ray tracing mode, and I really not only do I prefer the fact that the non-ray tracing mode runs at 60 frames per second, but I think the colors and stuff, like from like a design perspective, like the light chambers are more like focusing my eye towards particular areas, whereas when you literally simulate light, like it's a little bit more muddy, a little bit more, I don't know, hard to tell maybe when the designers use light to show you to look in a certain direction. So something to think about. And then I have I guess I'll talk about it really quick right now because I don't know when else it would come up again, but I saw something about so there's the Spider-Man remaster for PS5, and that's the remaster of Spider-Man for the PS4. And in the opening sequence, since they added ray tracing, there's like at one point there's like a toaster in the opening sequence, and it like just goes ba-ding, and then like Peter Parker takes a toast out or whatever. But I don't remember, it was like a YouTube video with like a really short clip of an interview with a guy from Insomniac, but he said like when they turn on ray tracing, you can kind of see them like despawning and respawning things in behind the camera.
Oh, I
Right,
see.
like
Yeah.
doing developer tricks, like you can like see like T-pose Peter Parker, kind of like you can see his reflection
Right.
or whatever. And so I think that's interesting.
Huh.
Like it totally, like ray tracing will totally mess with that type of stuff.
You have
Like
to like
if you're
rethink
trying
how
to,
you develop, right?
yeah, well, how you do those like
Mhm.
camera tricks and
Right.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
I know. This is a little bit off topic, but I know that the Spider-Man. I saw this one clip on like how they did the like the first like boss fight where you're going up to fight Kingpin or whatever, and it was
oh
kind of
yeah,
like the camera tricks. They were despawning everything, so you were all on the same plane, but it made it seem like you were going up the tower. So they kind of just
yeah,
like swapped in stuff and like despawned other stuff. It's kind of
Mhm.
right.
interesting,
Mm-hmm.
just to see it from a dev point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. Like just initial impressions of the PS5. I think that it. So I've just a little bit of background. I've only played Astrobot's Playroom. Is that what it's called?
Astro's Playroom.
Astro's Playroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've only played that so far because I just got it yesterday when we're recording. So I don't have like a ton of playtime with the PS5 so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, and I'm sure Casper will ask about this later, but the controller, man, that's really what
Yeah.
sells it for me. Just like all the reviews are talking about this, but just like the adaptive triggers and the haptic, Astro,
Feedback.
it's
Yeah.
designed to be a showcase of what the PlayStation controller can do,
Yeah.
the DualSense controller can do. But I think that game really sells it.
Yeah.
And I know it really sells it because I let my girlfriend play for a little bit, and she's like, "Whoa, that's neat." So that's how you know. That's how you know.
Sure is cool.
Right,
You
right.
know, speaking about the controller, I was wondering, does the PlayStation 4 controller, does that work with the PlayStation 5?
No.
No,
Yeah,
Really?
but you can. No,
Uh,
but it works. You can use the PS5 controller on the
Mhm.
PS4
Right. It just obviously
uh,
won't, do all its fancy stuff, but
right.
it's backwards but not
forwards.
forwards.
That's
Yeah,
kind of weird.
right. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of games like, they probably want to push the idea that they want, or so they being Sony
Right.
wants developers to make games that like make good use of the stuff
Mm.
inside the PS5 controller, inside the DualSense.
Right.
And
mm,
so if they were like, yeah, fuck it, just the PS4 controller will work, like people would, I don't know, it would be less incentive certainly to use that controller. If you were concerned, like for example, like I'm making a game, say like there's like a 50-50 share of people using PS4 controllers and PS5 controllers. It's like, am I gonna spend all this time like making this specific PS5 experience
Mhm.
if like not the majority of people are using that controller? So that's the reason, I think, is to push the controller, because I agree with you, Casper, like it is mostly the same stuff except for
Yeah.
it's the haptics and the triggers, but like all the buttons are the same
right. So
Yeah.
on it.
I was gonna
You
say
know,
too because, after 7+ years or whatever, like, people probably have like 4 PS4 controllers lying around, so it does kind of suck that it isn't compatible with PS5. But
yeah, because if it works with
wow.
PS4, that means it's Bluetooth, right?
right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
No, that's kind of
Um,
sucky.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a different take than what it seems like Microsoft is doing, where like the PS5, it's like no, like this is the new generation. Like you can play
Yeah.
PS4 games, but like this is the start of like what's next. Whereas I think
Right.
the Xbox, they're kind of taking it as a point of like,
Like
and we'll
upgrades.
talk about the UI. I'm sure you'll ask a question about the UI, but the Xbox Series X UI, for example, is like the same as the One X or whatever.
Hmm.
It's just the
Yeah.
same UI you're already used to, just on new hardware. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so and the controller for the Xbox, between
It's like the
generations, it's pretty much the same, right? I think
Yeah.
they added like a share button. That might be the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
With the
sure, but
Xbox
it
One,
seems
it
pretty
does.
samey.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Huh.
kind of, I guess, my general thoughts on the initial
Yeah.
impression. PS5.
So Casper, why don't you dive in with your super fun time / news questions?
Okay. So you guys already talked about what do you think, but I guess I'll go and I think it was the first episode we talked in the news about the UI for the
Mhm.
PlayStation,
Yeah.
and I remember
Yeah.
it was kind of wonky. How is it now that you guys have your hand on it?
It's a little well, it's wonky in the sense that I'm so used to like the PlayStation 4's
Mhm.
UI.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. Some things are like so streamlined and other things are like they like it requires like 1 or 2 more button presses than it used to.
Right.
Like it's not. So I don't know, Cody, have you done this where you like, I don't know if it's safe to eject a disc while it's playing or not. I'd never done that. Like I'd never eject a disc while a game is running, right?
Right.
So I want to close the game before I eject my disc, right? In the PS4 it was hold down the PlayStation button, little menu, like close game, done.
Right.
And then on the PS5 it's like hit the home button, it brings up another menu, navigate to this one tile, like expand it, select the game you're playing, hit start, from that brings up a menu, and then close game.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Jesus Christ, I just want to close the game.
Right, but then other stuff is super.
Other stuff's like,
yeah, it's like right there in front, like where you would want it. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I do think it is a little weird. I know that. So like it's missing a couple things that you just would figure like, oh, why isn't this there? Like making folders. I know that's something everyone.
Oh yeah,
it's just like
I
people
didn't know.
want to.
I haven't thought to do that yet because I don't have enough games.
Because like I transferred all my PS4 data to my PS5, so I just had like all the games that were on it already on it.
Right.
The PS5. But like you can't make folders, which is kind of weird. So when you're on the main menu, it's just ordered by your last used app.
Right.
So there's like the two that are always on there, like the store and then like activity or something like that. But then the games themselves are ordered by when you've played them or downloaded them too. So if you download a new game, it'll like be on the front, I'm pretty sure. So when I wanted to play Astrobot, I had to like jump into it and like select it from the
the hierarchy.
Yeah, and it was like I just figured if I could customize it or something.
Like yeah, that would be sick. Because I didn't notice that.
Yeah, because like when you jump into like your game library, so it should show you like all the games that are installed, right? And then all the games associated with your account. And then it has like PS Plus and then PS Now, whatever.
Right.
But it starts you on the entire giant list of all the games you've like ever thought about having. like all the games I get for PS Plus, I always make sure to get them, start of the month, whatever. You might play them eventually, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so it starts you on that screen and it's like there's like 300, but then you can filter it from there, but I think it should start you on the installed games.
Right.
Yeah. Cuz that should be a choice you should be able to make.
Yeah,
right. Like,
right. It's just like weird. It is super clean. And I think some of the complaints that we have, might be over time will be like, oh, like whatever,
You learn it and like whatever, you get used to it.
It's just, customize, being able to customize and put stuff in the folders. That to me, that should have been like I don't know.
That's a no-brainer.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it should just be.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I mean, everything's snappy. Everything, loads quickly is like the big selling point, I guess. So it all works fine. It's just little quirks here and there.
Do you think the PS4 was better? The UI?
That's a good question.
Or like the same, like not really much.
It's mostly the same.
Yeah.
Like if you can picture all your apps on the one row and then you go up and there's all your settings or whatever, it kind of follows that format.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like two separate bars,
right?
For like
on like the main menu.
Yeah.
And then other aspects, I feel like it gives you more control. Like when you hit the, you like tap the PlayStation controller or the home button. It brings up like a quick menu. So right there you can see music. So you could play music right from there instead of having to on the PS4
like go open the Spotify app and
right. So it's and you can control devices a lot easier right from there instead of turn off controllers, that sort of thing. So
that little quick menu is like tight for like just the immediate things that it says, and then it is like anything that like you used to be able to do, I think, from like holding down the PlayStation button that they have moved elsewhere is like just pisses me off. And that's like for me it's really that closing the game thing is the most annoying part. While we're on the UI, I just want to throw this out there. I don't think they're gonna probably let us get themes, which bums me out because I always love doing a cool theme on my PS4.
You don't think so?
Changing it out. Well, every game when you select it, it fills up your entire screen with key art, like the PS3 did.
Right.
and like that's like like it's an instantaneous thing. Like I think that some PS4 games maybe do that.
I'm trying to
Did they
remember.
do that? If you like hovered over the tile, would it like fill the screen with key art?
I can't remember.
If it
I
did,
think
yeah, I
some
can't remember.
did.
But if it
I think Horizon Zero Dawn
PS3,
did.
I know the PS3 games
Yeah.
did, or some of them did, and like,
Yeah.
but you'd have to wait like 2 seconds. You just sit there
Mhm.
like, and then it would load.
It's like the
for the
Yeah.
viewers, I made a dumb guy face, just like
Right.
chilling with my mouth open.
man, that sucks. If we can't get because you're right. Like usually, I don't know. Like it has like the basic themes you could choose, but
Yeah.
I guess I haven't explored. And if you're saying like it's not, the option's not even there, then
I
kind of
didn't see an option
weird.
for it, and but I see why they would like skip. So what I was getting at with like the full key art when you select a tile,
Mhm.
like what is there to customize? You don't have a background really.
Right.
I guess you could customize like the login screen could have a background, and I guess maybe
Yeah.
the icons.
The icons
for,
were a big thing on the PS4.
for your hot and
Yeah.
like the hot bar or whatever when you like what do they call it? The game bar? Is that what they call it?
We can call it. We
the
can
quick-
we can
quick
coin that
bar.
right now. We can just coin
Yeah,
it.
the thing that pops up when you press the press the PlayStation button once.
Yeah.
That it would be cool to get like different icons for that, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually
but-
kind of a bummer because that's always been a staple from the PS3 was just like,
Oh,
changing
yeah.
your icons or.
You know what was really hype is when the PS4 added the ability to put your own background,
Oh yeah.
because that was always in the PS3, and I always like uploaded like epic gamer wallpapers and shit off of YouTube or off of
And pop
Google
it on
Images.
a thumb drive and
Yeah,
Yeah,
and put it in and be like, I want like the icons from Infamous with like Hatsune Miku as the background, and you
Right.
can't stop me.
yeah, that's kind of a
but
bummer if you can't change the themes in the future, man.
Yeah.
Dang.
I hope they add at least the ability to change it for like the login screen, because that would
Mhm.
just be, I don't know, just be cool to personal. There's not a lot of options to like personalize
True.
the UI, but there is the cool. So I guess this isn't really UI, but in the settings you can do this thing where you can like set presets for your games, right? So you
Yep.
can basically set a console variable
Yeah.
to say like, I prefer subtitles on,
Yep.
I prefer like right stick inverted, and then if games like can read it, they'll like automatically apply those settings
Oh,
for you at
that's
launch.
Difficulty
really
as
cool.
well.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
difficulty is one of the options, I think. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
tight.
that's-
That's actually
I
like
don't know.
kind of sick.
Yeah.
I know that like we talked about it a little bit. PS4 kind of like dipped its toe in the water like just for mapping the controller buttons.
Yeah,
But
this has like full on mapping,
Right.
right? Can't you change any button to be any button?
That's what I saw.
Hell
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty nice.
Yeah,
more accessibility, man.
Huh.
They actually got it from us. Sony was
yeah,
listening.
that was
They're
our
like,
idea.
yeah,
They're
last
They're
minute.
like, that's a pro accessibility podcast, and we like those guys. Anyway, we're sponsored by Sony now.
Yeah.
That's
They
true.
sent. That's how I got the PS5.
They
They were
just
like,
bought
damn,
us just now.
any percent podcast. They know what they're talking
Oh,
about.
what did you guys
Yeah.
get? The digital or the disc?
Oh, I got the
Disc.
disc because
Okay, yeah.
I used it as a
I just like
Blu-ray
having
player.
physical disc.
Yeah, me
True.
too.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I like having like, I love the look of like my bookshelf that's just like fucking full of games.
Yeah, I love
like,
that too.
like even though the thing that's on the disc like is
Just the
usually hot
license or
flaming
whatever, yeah.
garbage that doesn't work,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I gave my fiance, I gave her parents my PS4
Oh, okay.
because her dad is a bit of a gamer. He dabbles in games,
Right.
and he was playing like Horizon Zero Dawn, but like he didn't connect it to the internet, and like it was like running like okay, but I was
Oh,
like,
because you didn't get like the day one patch or whatever.
yeah, right. And I
Right,
was
right.
like, I feel like it's supposed to look a little better than this. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Maybe the 1.0 is great, or that's
Right.
just how the game looks. But I remember just being like,
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe owning the games is not like worth the disc it's printed on, but
Right.
I like the look. It's all about aesthetic.
It's all about aesthetic.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you can get physical copies really cheap. Like if they're old,
That
they'll just
too.
go
That's
down
true,
in
yeah.
price. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is probably not even going to be like a thing in maybe like 10 years. Everything's going to
Yeah.
be digital.
That kind of would suck
Yeah.
though.
'Cause digital's on the rise. So
I don't know.
it's gonna be like,
You heard it here first.
I-
you heard it.
Digital's on the rise.
The fact that vinyls are still around makes me think that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Well, it would just be like limited run games. You know what I mean? So just like
like-
for like your
Well,
your-
no,
your,
but
like,
then the consoles wouldn't have
Spider-Man
discs.
7 What's that?
The consoles wouldn't
Oh,
have
what did
discs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's true.
what did Kody say last time, Casper, where you and I like tried really hard not to crack up when he was talking?
Oh,
I
about
talked
in the
Japanese.
last...
Yeah. Japanese have emotions.
He's like, yeah, okay, so we all know Japanese people are people too.
Is that what I said?
That. It's like, okay, so Japanese people are humans, right? And we're like, yes,
Yeah,
Japanese people are humans.
They have
or
emotions.
something like that.
They have
Well,
emotions.
yeah, that's what you
It
said.
turns
That was
out.
so funny.
I read an article that talked
You heard
about
it here first on the
have
Any Percent
emotions.
podcast.
What are we talking about?
But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
what-
Any more questions
Oh,
yeah.
post UI? Or sorry,
yeah.
we can keep talking about
I
whatever.
don't even remember what. Oh, we were talking about the
Well,
future
It's
of
okay.
discs,
Okay.
right?
Do you have any
Yeah.
questions about the actual hardware? Because I think that might be a good, like you talk about the UI, then you talk about the actual thing itself.
Do you guys know anything about
You know,
the thing
Kody,
itself?
instead of I was gonna say Kody, instead of being like Casper, here's he like handed off to him, like, please ask me this question.
Well, I was just wondering, maybe he has it on his list. He keeps looking down. Maybe it's on there.
No, but I didn't even think you guys would know anything about
We can
the
talk
hardware.
about the hardware.
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't have much to say about it. It's really quiet, which I appreciate. Way quieter than the PS4.
This thing's a chonker.
It is humongous.
How big
it is no joke.
It's
16 inches tall.
Oh wow.
It's massive.
Ish, give or take. It's huge.
Yeah. I've seen all these people who maybe aren't like familiar with what's going on. Like I showed my mom just like a comparison with the PS4 because she knows what that looks like just from seeing it.
Right.
And she's like the question that everyone says, like when they see the PS5 from my experience, they say,
yeah,
isn't it supposed to get smaller?
And it being technology.
Yeah, just like isn't like
Yeah.
the next one supposed to be smaller? Like every time it's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm like, it almost didn't fit in my entertainment stand.
You think the
It's got maybe like this much clearance, like laying down.
yeah.
So I wonder if it'll have like thermal issues later or something. But
well, they were melting in Best Buys or something in Texas.
Oh,
did you guys hear this?
Okay,
they burst into flames.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they put them in like those demo kits.
They put them in like acrylic demo, like
Right.
clear acrylic boxes.
Oh, there's no airflow.
Yeah.
No airflow.
Yeah, and it just like, and then it just, I don't know if it's true. I just saw this on Twitter. I was like, oh,
Yeah. I could see it happening.
what were you gonna say, Casper?
Oh, the PS4 or PS5. The how big do you think their Slim would be? Think it would just be like the size of a PS4, or
If they like in the next iteration, like if they do like a
I don't
Slim.
know.
Yeah, I think. Well, they haven't.
I have no
made
idea
a-
why it's so big. Honestly, like what in it makes it
Dude,
so big?
It's like so like if you have the box right there, right? The top half is like literally just a fan. Like there's some motherboard
It's
in
a
there.
huge fan, right?
It's a huge fan. It goes all the way through.
Yeah.
oh wow.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess like Evan, what do you think of the actual look of it? Does it? I don't know if
It does
look
not
even-
look. It does not look as bad as I thought it was going to. So
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Before this podcast, when Kody and I would talk about the upcoming PlayStation 5, my opinion was that it looked like a Wi-Fi router or like
a Wi-Fi router,
like a spaceship. Like I don't know, it just looked too loud. The white fins, on the side, like still don't really do it for me. But seeing it in person, like it is a cleaner look. Like they're it's all a lot matte, like it's like or it's a lot more matte than I thought it would be versus glossy. Like the launch PS4, very glossy. PS4
glossy.
Pro, nice and matte, which I fuck with. So I like that it's matte. I don't love the white though. That's the other thing. I'm really, I don't know.
Most people's home
And then the controller.
Most people's home medias are all black, so just having that one white pop out.
I think. I mean,
kind of loud, which is probably intentional, right?
Yeah,
like people like they want you to see it.
It's probably like a statement piece. Like Sony's like, yo, like,
it's got to be a statement piece. It doesn't fucking fit anywhere else.
Chonker,
like it's next to my TV. It can't go in my TV stand.
Put it and it's on its own like pedestal with like a light.
Yeah, no, I literally do.
Yeah. It's just like there's no way else to. But I think it's like it's very purposeful. Like you guys are saying, like Sony's like, yo, like this is a fucking PS5. Like this is it. It's all like curvy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think the curviness of it probably is to defy the convention set by the 4, which was like very angular.
yeah.
Like actually thinking back, like if we take a look at like 1 through 5, right?
Let's
Like
take
the
a walk.
PS1,
Take a walk with us
yeah, the
through the list.
PS1 was kind of blocky, right?
Mhm.
And then the PS2 added like I don't know what to call
Like
it, like
right angles, right? Like if you
well,
look at
like
Mm.
it from the
the
front.
front had these like it had these like grooves. It had
Ooh.
grooves, right? They were
Oh,
like it
yep.
was ribbed for her pleasure, right?
Yep.
So that was they defied the previous expectation by making it ribbed. And then with the PS3, they were like, it's not going to be square again. It's not going to be ribbed again. It's just going to be like a fucking oval.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hot pocket of game joy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll
And
cost
so
like $700 or whatever.
yeah.
Whatever the launch price
And
was.
then with the 4, they were like, okay, that had like that nice smoothness. Let's go for like super sharp rhombus,
Yep.
like angles.
Mm.
And then with this one, they're like, we can't do any of that stuff. So let's put it in Seto Kaiba's jacket from Yu-Gi-Oh!
And just
and
bend it all up. Yeah.
yeah, just fuck it up.
All crumpled. Well, I think you're right though. Like I think my initial when I so when they first revealed it, I think we were all on a call together and we're like,
Yeah.
what the hell are they doing?
What are you
But
thinking?
when you see it in person, it does look a lot better. It's huge. It's just
It's huge.
I think that well they stopped that company. They did like a cease and desist because they were making the panels come off
Replacement
super easy.
fins, right?
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
people were making like people can paint them, like plasti dip them I've seen, or
Mhm.
people could
Yeah.
do thanks. People can plasti dip or they can do like a D-brand skin. I've seen that, where it's just like matte black and it looks way better.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So, eventually
That's
those
cool.
will come and I'm sure, they'll have like a different edition, God
Mm-hmm.
of War edition, whatever. So
Right.
I just want to point out really quick that Kody just counted from 1 to 2 on his pointer finger and then his
Wait.
pinky. You did this. You did
Well, it's
rock and
'cause
roll,
Spider-Man,
baby.
dude.
Yeah. That was a fascinating one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope like I think honestly if they release a different looking one, I might get it and then sell this one and like eat the cost.
Mm.
Like I don't know. I'm not in love with the white. And then the other thing about the white is the controller is mostly white, and God, the gamer goo
Oh, yeah.
on that controller, I
On the
can't imagine how
controller, yeah.
gross that's gonna look after I've had a couple
Do you
pizzas
think?
and
Yeah,
stuff.
some
Like
Doritos, really
yeah,
I hope it's.
stain this bad
it's-
boy.
I hope it's not that white plastic that just yellows with age. Like even if you don't use it.
I hope so too. I
Yeah.
fucking hope so
Yeah.
too. I don't
Good-
know, but
I have a Xbox
Yeah.
360 controller that was white, and like I haven't used it in so
Yeah.
long, and by the time I went back to it, it was just yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
you. I will say that now that we're talking about the controller,
Yeah.
like, what do you think
Yeah.
overall of the controller, Evan? Because I like it like a lot more than, like I've held. I think the Xbox Elite's a little different. I haven't like touched
Yeah.
that one enough, but I think this might be like more comfortable than an Xbox
Like
controller.
yeah. It's heavy.
It's
That's
heavy.
my
This thing is
it's heavy. Like you could yeah,
yeah,
you know,
especially with the
you could
sharp
could commit a crime with that. Yeah, no
sharp
problems.
this angle is, dude. That
Yeah,
might be
dude.
the most like weirdest part about it. Is
Yeah.
it's like really sharp angle, but
It's comfortable
Yeah.
though.
It's comfy. It's just like my fiance was holding it was like my arms are literally getting tired. Like
right.
this is like it's just a lot.
It's like when you
Um,
play
Like a
the Switch for
workout.
too long, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, exactly. When you hold the Switch up like in
Yeah.
handheld mode for like 2 hours, and then you're like, oh, my forearm.
It's just
Yeah.
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 Rotator cuff is broken from it.
but yeah,
But yeah, otherwise I like it. Like
right.
the buttons feel pretty good, you
Mhm.
know. They're not as clicky, I think, as the PS4.
Yeah. I
Um,
like the triggers a lot
and
more.
the D-pad is still like a rocker, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, the D-pad's still like a little
yeah. I know that's like a cost saving thing, but like any controller I've had that's not like a rocker like that, I like better. Like I honestly like the D-pad on the Switch cuz it's individual buttons.
right.
But the adapter, I mean, we already gushed at the opening of this about some of our favorite features, right? But obviously the haptics are really cool. The adaptive triggers are surprisingly interesting. And
Mm,
Astro's Playroom is like the only game out so far that takes all of these things to like the fullest.
mhm.
But in Astro's Playroom, there's a really cool part where you're piloting like a spaceship thing, and like the right trigger does the right rocket of the spaceship, and the left trigger does the left rocket, and you like steer by tilting the controller. And when you pull down, there's like so much resistance,
Yep.
and then it's like vibrating too. Like there's resistance, and it's vibrating as they're like,
Right.
and it just feels so good in your hand, dude. It's like
It's hard to describe.
it's magical.
It's
No,
hard
it's
to describe
magical.
without. It is magical. It's just
Yeah.
like Casper probably thinks we're talking sound like
Okay,
crazy people.
yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
like this thing's vibrating all the right ways, and like it is.
It's just right. Yeah.
Like you read
Stick
all
it
the
in my
reviews,
butt.
and
It vibrates just right.
it's like this part will vibrate differently in certain parts, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Like if you're walking on glass, like it's like little
Oh,
tinkle.
that was that was
Yeah.
something.
If sand's blowing at you, it's kind of like you just feel
That was the thing that was the most impressive, dude. Walking on the sand, like it
Yeah.
felt like particles, like were
Yeah,
running through the
it's
controller.
so
It felt
weird.
like there was bits of sand inside the controller.
That,
Anyway,
that was something that Nintendo advertised with the Switch. Like their controller.
Yeah, but I
have
haven't
haptics.
seen anything. Right.
So is this better
It's,
than the
the
Switch?
So-
controller is just so small that I don't even know what
Yeah.
really you could do. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I'm thinking of that trailer where the guy like
The ice cubes.
drops ice
Yeah.
cubes in, and he's like ding ding ding.
Yeah. Right.
Delicious. And yeah, I feel like 1-2 Switch, I think I've heard, or that is the one that like kind of takes advantage of it. And I'm concerned that that's going to be what Astro's Playroom is to
Right.
the PS5.
Yep.
Like that developers won't take advantage, or certainly not. I don't think anything will take advantage in the same way that Astro's does.
Yeah.
But
I think
like, yeah, I
the-
don't know.
the mic on here, like, you know, those parts in Astro where you had to blow into this tiny hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
Hmm.
That doesn't need to be there ever in any game.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of the DS had like a couple of their games, because it had a mic as well, I think.
Yeah.
And you just have to like it just wouldn't work. Like when I was playing Astro, I'm like blowing in this thing, I'm getting lightheaded. But I found out if you hit this button, it mutes the
It
mic.
mutes it. Oh, so you
Yeah.
muted you?
So
Did
it's
you
like
mute yourself?
accessibility, and then it auto just does whatever the blowing thing is, and I'm
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm like lightheaded, about to pass out. I'm like,
But-
why isn't it working? I'm blowing into this hole. Anyways.
When me and Christian were kids, we used to play like the Mario Party DS games, and if you put your
Yeah,
thumb
oh,
over the
right.
mic, it would just like
It-
blow for you.
That's classic.
So,
Yep. That was like
Yeah.
in the DS version of Mario Kart, the balloon battle game mode.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
made it so you have to blow up the balloons, and
Yeah.
everyone would just hold their finger over it.
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking kids,
Right,
man.
that's right. Yeah, I don't know what more there is to say about the controller. I guess the thumbsticks are a little different. I don't know if
they're a little they've got a bit of a different texture to them,
Yeah.
but they're pretty similar. It's
Yeah.
I think the controller itself is maybe a bit wider. I would have to put them next to each other, but I feel like it's a bit wider.
I
It's all a
think
bit bigger.
right. It's just
It's
big.
a beefy controller. It's heavy and it's big.
Oh, dude, USB-C. Let me
Yeah.
just tell you.
Mm.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Thank
We
the Lord.
I think it's weird that they packaged it though. So the console has 2 USB ports on the back,
Mhm.
1 USB port on the front, and a USB-C port on the front. And I was expecting when I unwrapped the
More
controller to have a
USB-C.
dual-ended USB-C cord to charge it, but it's
Nice.
a USB to USB-C.
Yeah,
so.
which was weird. I think I did notice.
I was just like, that's odd. Like I just
Right.
didn't expect that. But I wonder if the USB-C is being reserved for like the future, extended storage type stuff. Like
Yeah.
if that'll be for that.
Have you
Maybe the
No clue,
PSVR will
really.
be
Have you-
that as well.
Yeah.
have you guys noticed if the
Mm.
controller charges faster or anything, or same?
I mean, it must, right? Just because of the USB-C. I don't have a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah.
I bought the like the rest that charges it, like the
Mhm.
controller stand that charges it. So
just
I
forget
don't
it.
pay that much
Yeah.
attention. It just
Right,
goes. Yeah, I
which
just put
just
it down when
go-
I'm done playing. It hasn't gone out
goes
while
to
I've
the
been playing
bottom,
though.
just for everybody at home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um,
So okay, well, before we finish up the controller, I just want to rattle off a couple thoughts on the games I have played so far.
do it.
Miles Morales.
Oh, that's actually my next
I-
question.
I
Oh,
was
games
not
that-
What games you
well,
played?
just related to what I. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I can just say we can work
Yeah.
it into both. So I've played Miles Morales, and here's what I think about the PlayStation 5 controller of Miles Morales. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the same, like, nothing can do like Astro's, right? But I remember
Right.
seeing people talking online about how it was really good in Miles Morales, and I didn't find it particularly remarkable. But maybe that's a sign of like good haptics or whatever, right? If I don't notice them and they just like bring me deeper into the experience.
Yeah.
But I
Mhm.
played Demon Souls, and I really like how it feels in Demon Souls,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So
Nice.
Demon Souls, like, you swing with your right hand, you swing a sword, and you like make contact with an enemy or like a wall. I think I might, maybe, and the other thing is maybe this is all placebo, right? And like we're just reading too far into this, but I feel like there's a rumble that moves from like right to left across the controller. Like I can feel like kind of like almost like the sword as it makes contact and continues to
Oh,
make
that's cool.
contact, that like rumble point kind of.
Whoa.
I was actually gonna ask
If you
you
can
that.
imagine, like there's like a rumble focal point, like
Right.
that
And then it
focal
kind
point just moves from right to left,
of
like just along with my sword, which I
interesting.
thought was so cool.
So the
Ah,
controller, the triggers, they stop or something, right?
it makes it like
Yeah, right.
resistance in some parts where it's like
Yeah.
like in
So
Astro, like when you're
yeah,
pulling like a spring,
Mhm.
there's like a section where you are a spring and you kind of jump.
you're a frog. You're a spring frog.
Yeah, so you kind of like have to extra push it.
Okay.
I thought like
Yeah,
I was like,
it's like
wait, what's
tension.
happening? But then I'm like, oh, because like I was like, because it's weird because for the rest of the game it's normal except for in these sections. So it's
Huh.
Yeah,
obviously the developers can choose like at this point the controller will have more resistance. I don't know if
yeah.
that resistance can be like tailored a little bit or if it's just like an on
Oh,
and off
definitely.
thing.
No. It's yeah,
'Cause
because like in Bug Snacks,
okay,
when you take, so back to
played
my
Bugsnax.
story about the stuff I've been playing in Bug Snacks, when you like take a photo with your scanner, you basically have like a camera that scans stuff.
Hmm.
There is like, it's just a little, it's kind of like a nub. It feels like in the middle, like a brown
Oh, just
switch
for like
on
a
a keyboard.
an actual
So like,
camera. Okay.
right. So when you pull it, and then it kind of is tight, and then you pull it a little harder, and it goes right past it.
Right.
And then like in, like you said, in Astro, there's like, there's times where it's like tense up front, and then there's, oh, the monkey part in Astro, have you played that?
Yeah.
Like that has like a totally different feel than the other parts, and
Okay.
I
Yeah. Maybe.
struggle to describe it, but there's, so
Right.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think it's like an engine
Right.
that it has like probably many different variables that you
Mm.
can combine to create like an experience with the controller, I
Right.
guess, for lack of a better word. So I think that's what's really cool about it, is that yeah, it's not just a setting,
Yeah.
it's not just something to turn on or off. Like it seems like it's a lot of pieces that developers can like combine to create
That's awesome
a
because
specific experience.
it kind of bums me out when you say that Spider-Man doesn't really use it a lot because like I can imagine like I don't know when you're climbing up a building, like, climbing on brick is different than maybe climbing on metal or something, right?
I mean, it
Like
just felt like normal Rumble to me, but
right,
yeah.
that's kind of bums me out because that's a first party, so you'd figure that.
Yeah.
But then you say Demon Souls has it, so I don't know.
Well,
That's first
yeah.
party as well, so or I guess second party because
Yeah, well, yeah, Blue Point. Yeah, I
but
don't know.
um
Uh,
yeah, so hopefully more games, and I guess that's something they could always patch in, right? It would
yeah,
suck to not have it day one, but if they could maybe patch Miles
yeah.
Morales in a month to have um, adaptive triggers,
Better triggers,
better
yeah.
haptics, all that. So
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing with Miles Morales, the adaptive triggers, like when you swing, they don't, people were saying like you can really feel the tension in the web, and I was like, it just has like, you can't pull it down all the way. There's like a ton of resistance like right at the end of the trigger pull, which
right, you think it'd be
I don't know, maybe, I
right?
don't know, maybe people are like, it feels like you're like catching, and like you start swinging, you feel the tension, but I didn't feel like it did that for me, you know?
Right.
Like
Maybe
I
it's
don't
like
know, maybe I'm not doing
you
a good
kind
job
of
of explaining
picture
this,
like
but
when you're arcing,
yeah.
and like right there is maybe where you're supposed
Right.
to.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Like I feel like it's not a programmatic thing, right?
Right.
Like it's not actually interacting with the web, how
You
the web is
right.
going. It just kind of gives me the vibe that the web is tight up at a certain point,
Mhm,
which I don't know.
right.
But I think that's it for games I've played. Astro, Bugsnax, Spider-Man. Oh, and Sackboy. I played Sackboy.
I think I'm
And
gonna get Sackboy. Play that with.
Sackboy is just cute. It's
Mhm.
just cute. I've been playing with my fiance. It's very cute
Yeah.
and it's fun. Not a lot to say about the haptics with that, but
Yeah. Like I said, so if Casper, if you're next question is like games or whatever. I've only played Astro.
It's just talk about what games you played.
Yeah, I've only played Astro, and I did
So
buy
you don't
Miles,
you
but
don't have any games?
I just bought Miles Morales. Like I got it yesterday, and I started playing it like maybe 4 p.m. So I haven't had.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do stupid errands today. Bullshit.
Uh,
I had to take my dog to a training class. Didn't really.
Well,
Anyway,
what about like you didn't get Bug Snacks? That was free.
I didn't. I added it to my like library, but I haven't downloaded and played it yet. But I'm excited, dude. The Bug Snacks hype is real. Everyone's hyped about it.
It's cool.
Game
It's
of the
weird.
year.
It's cool. It's definitely interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, the games so far, like there's not obviously a ton of PlayStation games yet, but
Right.
maybe someday we can do a PlayStation an episode where we play a PS5 game. Someday,
Yeah,
if we buy
Casper.
Casper, we'll buy Casper a PS5 for Christmas.
I just actually no, never mind. I'll talk about this after the podcast. It's something else.
It's private.
That's
It's that butthole. It's that butthole thing you were talking about earlier. Yeah, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Cream? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the cream for your butthole. Yeah, don't say anything. That's not appropriate for the podcast. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any other thoughts, or do you have any other questions, Casper, about just generally about the PlayStation 5?
I think the only question I got left is, have you guys encountered any problems with it?
Oh yeah. So I guess I'll start because mine's just like I haven't messed around with it too much. So I don't have any problems that I've noticed. I think so. I have seen stuff online where you'll be like trying to download a game and it'll just be stuck in the download queue.
Oh, that happened to me.
That happened to you too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I just paused and hit go again, and it started again.
Oh really?
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's a different problem.
Right. I was looking at some fixes and people are like, do all this like crazy stuff to fix it, and it's just I don't know. I mean, it can't be 100% perfect, but it's just like, what are all these weird things that are causing it? Like, isn't it just the hardware? Like it seems like a software.
Yeah. So it's definitely a software. It's like a firmware problem, right?
It's not like a faulty, like disk drive.
Yeah.
Like a couple of the Xbox, you can't
definitely
plug in a disc, but so I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just no like hardware failures on my end or anything. Like I think that's pretty uncommon. But as far as software stuff, like Cody's talking about, I've had this one problem crop up like 4 times, and it just started happening yesterday. But I played all night last night and all morning this morning.
True gamer.
Yeah, true gamer. I was drinking IPAs and playing PS5. But yeah, so it's just like I'll try to launch a game and all of a sudden it'll just be like can't launch game, and that's all it says with a little error code at the top. And I looked up the error code, and I just found like a Reddit article about how to fix it, or not Reddit post. And you have to like restore your licenses from Sony. So basically, your license file got corrupted on your PlayStation, and you have to go basically ask, knock, Papa PSN, Sony, hello, Sony. Can we reconfirm all my licenses, and then that fixes it. But it's weird. I don't know how it just keeps happening. And then the other thing that hasn't happened to me that I've heard of is that if you put Spider-Man Remastered into rest mode, it can like force restart your PlayStation, like you unplugged it kind of.
Yeah.
And you'll have to like rebuild
the
or like repair the hard drive.
Right.
Yeah. It'll put you into like that.
It sucks.
That sucks. Like that's bad.
Yeah.
Right.
But
we're the guinea
nothing
pigs,
can be
I guess,
worse.
you know?
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah. They just pushed it out. I mean, I don't know. But no huge problems. Like everything. Sorry, I'm yawning. Okay.
It's late for us here. We're all old men too, so.
9 o'clock. Oh my god, I gotta be getting to bed soon. But everything's been like super not straightforward. Obviously, I had to go fucking look it up. But pretty easy to rectify. I do wish, like, if the fix for that error was to go, restore my licenses. Why didn't it just say that? Right? Like,
I was about to say it. Like, it seems so. There's no browser, right? Like, there's no web browser on the.
There is a web browser on the console. Yeah. I think. But why isn't it take me to like Sony's official like
Right.
listing for that error code or whatever?
Huh.
Like instead it's just a screen that says like fuck you
Yeah.
with an error
You know,
code. And then,
Google
yeah.
Right.
It's like in this time of like connected devices and like how everything is a fucking regular old computer with like bells and whistles on it, like why doesn't it just launch a browser and take me to what I'm trying to find out? Like
That'd be
instantly.
sick. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't use
It's
the web
just dumb.
browser in PS4, but if it just did that, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've probably used the web browser in PS4, just not like literally used it. Like some stuff will just open it and like
Try to think. Maybe like a
Like, make you
sign
read
in
something.
for like a U
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. But
Uplay, yeah.
Hmm.
But all right, should we take a break then? Do we have any other thoughts?
I think that ends our Casper Super Fun Time news
/news.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. And we're back. Time for everybody's favorite part of the show. The part we still haven't named, the Any Percent Game Time Super Happy Fun Family show. This is the part of the show where we talk about the game that we played this week. And that's really, really... Okay, you guys promise we'll come up with a name for it?
Yes,
like, for this
we
segment?
really should, because we're at the episode 5, and that's
We-
where we're
yeah.
supposed to just...
We're supposed to be at our like peak right now, right? Like we're supposed to know what we're doing, and every time I'm like, what do we call this segment? And I think in the notes we always call it just like the name of the game, but I'm not just
discussion or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this week we played BloodRoots. Quick, we did a quick intro before, but I'll hit those bullet points again. It's like a crazy action game from a top-down perspective where you use improvised weaponry to whack baddies, and they die in one hit, you die in one hit, kind of like Hotline Miami, a game we've talked about now twice. But we really like playing. Yeah, we really like. When did we talk about it a third time? What on earth?
We talked about the game. We talked about the music, and then we talked about like the genre of games that we like, and then we've talked about it, like a rogue like. No, wait, dude. No.
Nah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me.
I guess we talk
lot,
about it a
rambling.
lot. We really like that game. So maybe we should play it for the show at some point to like build a common vocabulary with our audience, right? But we're hoping to God that our audience has played it.
Yeah, right. Or else it's
but
not
yeah,
gonna make any sense.
so it's a lot like that. It came out earlier this year in February 28th, 2020, right before the world as we knew it changed. I remember the weekend that it came out, I was watching my dad's house. I was like house sitting for my dad, and I brought my Switch, and my buddy Troy came over, and we took turns on every death swapping controller, like
Oh,
old
nice.
school
That's
shit.
that's a fun way to play it.
Yeah, that's like I used to do that all the time when I was a kid, and obviously since I have no fucking friends, I like don't do that now. But
Yeah, me too. Damn.
it's a classic way to play games. And if you guys if you're into this conversation, if you guys think it sounds like something you want to play, you guys being the audience, not you guys being Kody and Casper, it is available on PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. So with that, let's just get into it. So the narrative. I mean, I don't have a ton to say about the narrative.
Yeah.
It's basically it's a story of revenge. Like many westerns. A common theme throughout the whole thing is like westerns. It plays on like western movie tropes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like you're a guy,
Mr.
Wolf,
Yeah.
and you are like part of a gang of like ruffians and you're all animal themed. There's like Mr. Boar, Miss Bison, there's Mr. Black Wolf, right? And then
he's a big bad.
he's like he's the leader of your gang, and then your gang betrays you, which is like, isn't that how Red Dead Redemption opens?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
That's
So-
it's also like a Kill Bill type thing.
Yeah, totally. It's just like, I think it's a really common
Mhm.
story like structure for Western stuff.
The Leo DiCaprio movie, The Revenant.
Mm,
The
The Revenant.
Yeah.
If we do ever do a movie podcast instead of a video game
Hey.
podcast,
I was gonna ask that at some point.
I would love to talk about The Revenant. Anyway, though, we're talking about BloodRoots. yeah, so the writing is pretty snippy, pretty fun.
Yeah,
But
the dialogue. There's no voice acting. It's just like
no
the
voice, just grunts. It's kind of
right,
like
like Animal Crossing or like Sims or something.
yeah. I'm trying to think of something that's like exactly like it though, like where like people are like, "Hi," and then it's just like a bunch of text, or then they're
Mm.
like, "Sorry," and it's like blah blah blah, like sorry that I've defaced my clan's honor, and I will now commit seppuku, and it just is like
Right.
sorry in like an anime voice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just like grunts and stuff. Like yeah,
But
that's it.
the writing, if that's tied into narrative, the writing is
Yeah,
pretty like Mr. Boar, right?
yeah, the
His
first guy.
writing is like, he uses big words that I need a dictionary because I'm stupid to see
SAT words.
to understand. Yeah. So that must mean it's good, right? If there's lots of big words.
Truly a mark of quality film
That's how you
and
know.
story writing. Yeah, I think he uses like big bombastic language. Like
That's
I
like
just
his
use the word
character is just
bombastic. That's an
Mm.
SAT word, kind of.
that's true.
Like yeah, because he's like he's got like a superiority complex, right? Like he's
Mhm.
like he's like a capitalist. He's like a rich guy. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like
Yeah.
he's all about he did it
for
to get
money.
rich after.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
his yeah, that was the point of his betrayal. So, um, yeah, from what I played, like the writing was pretty snippy, pretty like funny. Like I had like a sensible chuckle a couple times. Are you okay, Cody?
I think this is a like sharp piece of glass like sticking out on the edge.
Ah.
Ooh.
I'll figure that out later. I might have just cut my mouth up. That's whatever.
The
The show must go on.
show must go on as he bleeds to death from his mouth. But yeah, I like it. I like the writing. What do you guys have any thoughts on the writing or the story?
I kind of skipped through a lot of the dialogue. Like I just I
Whoa.
read it really
Okay.
fast and just kind of like
Yeah.
glanced it.
I will say
Yeah,
it is the type of
it's
game where the story has very
right.
little bearing to the actual gameplay, right? Like
Mhm.
at no point
Yeah.
was I like, I wonder why I'm doing this, like,
Right.
Yeah.
or yeah, like I never thought that. So yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think that so like as far as a story
Mm-hmm.
goes, it's like you said, Evan, it's just your classic like revenge tale, right? But the character dialogue is it's pretty interesting. There's that point where you kill Mr. Boar and
Mm-hmm.
you can talk to him at the campfire and kind of learn a
Yeah,
little
his
bit more
ghost.
backstory. Yeah, right.
Hmm.
I
You
thought
talk
that
to
was
his
very
ghost.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's pretty good. You can definitely see where um I mean, I don't like looking at like an indie game and being like, "Oh, you're an indie game, so this, you didn't have money for this." But I
Right.
think when you're talking about like, "Oh, there wasn't any
Voice
like
acting.
voice acting," right? That's probably something to do with maybe because they wanted to focus on like the tech and the
Totally.
gameplay
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an easy thing to trim, certainly.
Yeah,
It's not
but
like a requirement.
right. So I definitely think the writing is good. And yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say as far as a narrative goes. I mean, maybe there's like this crazy twist on like
Right.
the
Oh
last
yeah, because
act
it's
that we
the
didn't
Any
play,
Percent
but
podcast, and we
right,
Yeah.
haven't all played all of it. Just
right.
really, nobody beat it, right?
I did
No.
not beat it. No.
Okay, yep, nobody beat it. So
Yeah.
if you wrote this game and you wrote in a crazy twist, we are like so sorry that we missed it, and we probably won't get to it because we got other stuff to play. But yeah, then the narrative leaves a little bit to be desired. Like it's
I would agree with that. Yeah.
when I bothered to read it, it was funny and snippy, but yeah, it's pretty cut and dry and pretty like irrelevant to my enjoyment of the game.
Yeah, I'm not like super attached to like. I mean, I hate the. So I'm thinking of Hades, right? Where like I
Mm,
just want to know like everything there is to know about this world and these characters.
right.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. I'm playing as Mr. Wolf. I'm beating someone up with a piece of fish. You know what I mean? I'm just
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 a good
chilling.
piece of fish. Have you seen that episode of Silicon Valley where Erlic's like calling that guy old, and he's like saying all this stuff that like old people like, and one of them he's like, "Yeah, you like a good piece of fish." or something.
Dude, Erlic's nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, this isn't
Hey,
a,
when
this isn't a
we
TV
have a
podcast.
TV show, yeah, when we start our TV podcast, we'll
But yeah, so let's jump forward then into the mechanics of the game. So high level overview, like we said, it's like a lot like Hotline Miami. Most of the enemies, at least early on, die in one hit. Some later take more than one hit, but you die in one hit, so you have to. So that's like Hotline Miami, right? And similar to Hotline Miami, it emphasizes like using your environment kind of carefully, but like in Hotline Miami. Okay, sorry, I have to ask a question. You can pick up guns in Hotline Miami, right? Like off the ground.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yep,
so
yep.
it's literally the same fucking thing. Like it's pick up an item off the ground. This is maybe taking it in a bit of a more creative direction, right? Like you can pick up like a lot of stuff off the ground
All
and
the
use it as a
different
weapon.
all the stuff is, usually it has a different action that you do, or a
Yeah,
different way you
Right.
kill the person, instead of
right,
Hotline Miami, is, just a gun, obviously.
right. So that's what I was gonna get to. Like,
Or I
yeah,
guess
like every
katanas and
the
stuff.
items all have like kind of different properties, and
Yeah.
there's kind of like super classes of the items, right? Like there's like throwable items that it's just like a pot, or it's like a bush, or not a bush, a hay bale or whatever.
Right.
And, like, you
Yeah,
just throw it.
barrels,
or
stuff
barrels,
like that.
yeah.
Yep.
And then so there's like kind of classifications of the items, so you can sometimes kind of like guess how the item's gonna act when you decide to pick it up, but oftentimes you have to just experiment. And I think that's what's kind of like interesting about it, is that
Yep.
it emphasizes experimentation and figuring out like what everything does.
Yeah.
But mechanically, that's pretty much it. The loop is pick up item, kill every guy in room, and in this case, room is like western dusty desert area, and there's like these like invisible walls that you just can't pass, or they it's very video gamey. It's just like you can't go until you kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like stay.
Right.
And it's just like this wall. But yeah, you kill everybody, go to the next area, do the same thing. It's literally the game. That's the entire loop. There's nothing else to say about the loop. There's some light platforming at times.
True.
But it's mostly just kill the guys and keep going.
Yeah, I think so. When we're talking about the different weapons have different like ways they attack. So yeah, so like you're saying, it's a lot of experimenting, right? So your first run through a level, you'll probably you'll die a lot in this game, but your first run, you're like, oh, like where is the next guy? Oh, he's over there. Oh, here's a weapon I can use to kill that guy.
Right.
And you can kind of like piece it together where, maybe on like your fourth run, you'll be able to, you're killing people. It's like a lot of people describe it as like a ballet, if that makes sense. So if 8-Bow is different every time, it's like jazz, right? But this one, the level is the same.
It's like
and
jazz.
It's like B movie, do you like jazz, right?
Yeah.
But this one's more like ballet. So at the start of the level, usually there's a weapon that is there at the start. So you can kind of see like, okay, the devs want me to use this weapon. How does it that's kind of how they introduce new weapons, right?
Right.
So like the sword, you'll pick it up and you kind of lunge forward.
Yeah.
So that kind of ties into the platform elements where you have to lunge from here to here while stabbing the enemies.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how they introduce new game mechanics as well. Like this weapon does this.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it is very. It has that element of like score chasing, right? So maybe you die less, you get longer combos. That's something we didn't mention, but
right, you have a combo score. There's a whole scoring system built into this, which like at the end of a level, you get like a graded score.
Yep.
Right.
So I think that I could see, someone who's really into that. They're trying to go for the. I thought it was funny. Like sometimes when I would play I'd get like a B, let's say, on this one level, but I'm looking at the high score and I'm like kind of close to the high score, like the global high score.
Damn, that's hardcore, dude.
But you're like sick. I got a B, so I didn't do that well, and I died 50 times.
Can we
while
grade
doing
this?
It, so.
Can we curve this grade, please?
Right, jack up the curve.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you're saying, like the game loop isn't too crazy.
It's not complicated.
Yeah. It's only like what, like you jump, you pick up a weapon, and you hit.
Yeah.
It's really just 4 buttons, whatever. So
I think if you play like the first level of this game, you like play it for like 10 minutes, you have a really good idea. But we all haven't finished it, I guess. Maybe it does get crazy, but I have a pretty strong feeling that it doesn't. You play 10 minutes of it, you get a pretty damn good idea of like what the game is. So
Right.
Yeah. What do you think about the like mechanics, Casper?
I like them a lot. I think probably my favorite weapon was the paddle, like the one where you
That was
jump.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, right. That
There's-
was cool. So yeah,
yeah. Especially if there was like mountains or something, and there's like a sniper up top, you just paddle up to them.
Mm,
You
yep.
know, and the barrel too. I like just rolling down enemies.
Rolling. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, cause so the
Yeah,
barrel, right? You have to watch out what you roll over because it'll like break the barrel.
yeah,
So you're just kind of like maneuvering it, and your guy's just like running on
yeah.
the barrel. It's kind of
Mhm.
cool.
It's cool too how different you can use them in different ways too. Like you could just
Hmm.
pick up the barrel and throw it. You don't even have to ride
Right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just while we're talking about the weapons, like, and kind of to what Cody said about it being like ballet, right? Like it's like very you have to practice these levels, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
Ape Out because it's like procedurally generated that you don't have that as an option, right? And so the gameplay I feel like the reason Ape Out gives you 3 lives is because you cannot plan, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
whereas this it's one hit, one kill, whatever, like you're going to die. So I would route myself, right? Like I would
Hmm.
like
Yep.
I would run routes and like if I was dying at like the last guy, I would run the same route and just keep
Hmm.
running those same routes. And you know,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting and it like plays I bet really well into like speed running and stuff like that. But
That I was just gonna say that. Like, I bet the speed runs for this game are like absolutely insane. I can just imagine. There are some levels where they kind of introduce new like new. So like I guess I'll just say it. So like there's like a fire element too, right? So like there's this
yeah.
brush all over.
Mm.
So I like the first 5 runs I didn't ever pick up the lantern or like walk near a campfire to light the hay bale on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I picked up the lantern, I threw it. It's like, oh, it the whole level's on fire now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So then that kind of tied into my later runs of that level. And so like you're saying about the paths and the routes, I found some levels it's like, oh man, this sucks. Like I'm just jumping over, but it's like not working for me.
Mm-hmm.
Tried going the other way. It's kind of like there's more than one path through the level.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of see like how the devs are placing different items, like the sword to lunge or like the paddle, the ladder, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are. Would you guys say you ever got frustrated with the game?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, right. I was gonna say because like I don't know, you'll just be like running your head into a wall. It's like multiple times. Like I think the some of the items they kind of screw you, right? Like if you're near a ledge and you lunge with a
You can just
sword,
fling yourself off.
you'll
the
Yeah.
fling
edge.
yourself off, and I'm like,
Or like that.
like it makes sense, I guess, but
That
it's
You're like,
just
cut me some slack.
got
that
me
hook shot.
just a little.
What was it
Yeah.
called? Like that hook shot
If-
weapon. That would always screw me over.
Yeah, you grab the dude and you kill him. Okay, great. But now I'm 20 feet off the edge. Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
The-
Thanks.
that was something I didn't like about the gameplay. I felt like sometimes when I used certain weapons after I used it, my character would just go flying forward. Like I would
Yeah,
just run
right,
really
right.
fast. I don't know if that was like a
Mhm.
physics glitch or they meant to do that. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So yeah, I guess like mechanic, I can see where as I'm playing it more, they're introducing new weapons, and you'll see those weapons later on. So you kind of
Yeah.
remember, oh, okay, I know what that did from 3 levels ago.
Right.
That would be perfect now. So then,
Yeah.
you're more apt to use. But then
Mhm.
there's like the classic things that are just in every level, like like
Like
you're
a
saying,
sword
pots,
or an axe or
axe,
Yeah.
sword, gives you 3 hits instead of the one with the
One
pot
hit.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it's very pleasing, but when it doesn't work, it's really frustrating, right? Like
Yep.
Yeah.
when you just destroy a level on the first try, like that feels damn good.
Yeah,
Mm.
because
Right.
you have to do it perfectly, right? Because of the one hit. So
Yeah.
you're just like doing everything correctly. You're
Yeah.
picking up this weapon, throwing it. It
Yeah.
works super well. But yeah, it's like when you're doing stuff and it like I guess it's technically my fault, but I feel like it's not my fault, all right? Yeah.
Get good,
So.
Cody.
Get good,
Yeah. So I have a thought that will kind of branch these two pieces. visually the game is very, very yellow and brown and dusty, and some of the enemies kind of blend right into that palette a bit. And there were many times where someone came out of somewhere where I just didn't notice them because they were the same color as the background. So that pissed me off. That, like, you're talking about stuff that, like, when you get frustrated, that's what frustrated me the most, when enemies that I felt like I had no chance of seeing killed me. And you know, that's entirely due to the visuals, right? Like, so to compare and contrast it once again to Hotline Miami, like, Hotline Miami's got that top down flat, like, you ain't mistaken a person for a bench or whatever. Like, there's it looks like a person. Like, the game is like got this very stylized graphical style that makes it very obvious visually what like an enemy is. Whereas this one, your real visual cue is if it moves, it's an enemy, but the enemies can have different color palettes and stuff. Like the gun guys wear like blue, but the guys who just punch you wear white, and the white, they blend right the fuck in, dude.
I was so kind of branching off that, like, sometimes I'll get to the end of the level and it's like one guy left, and I'm like, where's the dude? Where's the dude? Because the punch guys,
you don't know him.
Like,
he goes to another school.
He goes to another school. You wouldn't know him, but he the punch dudes, they like you're saying, they blend in. But if you don't get like within their radius, they don't run up and try to punch you. So if I just like avoid this dude at the start of the level, I'm just running around looking for this last guy.
And then you die.
Like, that's a little annoying too. And then I died to a hazard. Got to restart it all. There you go. So I feel like we're being negative, but these are actual, like, these are a little frustrating, but when the game works, like we're saying it, you know what I mean?
I would not say it. So although we've been ragging on it for the last like 15 minutes, like, I enjoyed the game, and I think it's a good, but we get to the review at the end. We'll get to the review part at the end where we put our stamps. We can call this the stamp section because it ends with a stamp. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. Maybe that's not so good. We'll talk about it after the podcast.
Well, I need to figure out how to make like a little animation.
But so the visuals, it's like this, like, really washed out, dusty, well, no, not washed out, it's actually very vibrant, but it's like a very limited color palette. It's like a lot of yellow, a lot of brown, a lot of like orange, and then the art style itself, it's like very storybook like. It's like pretty simple polygonal models, and it reminds me of like opening up a pop-up book. Like, the houses are like,
for sure,
they don't seem like I bet the houses are like 6 polygons, right? Like, it's like a cube, and then they just 7 because you make it a roof, and that makes it 7 polygons.
Like, I'm trying to think all of the kind of like you're saying, the houses where you got to jump here to get to the next like platform. It's nothing too crazy. But I guess contrasting with the storyboard kind of look of it, like you're saying, the game is so violent, dude. The game is so violent.
I mean, but it's cartoon. It's so cartoony though.
It's like, cartoony, It's kind of like I don't know what it reminds me of, but like, okay, so when you kill the last dude, you always do like a finishing move, right? Which are those are always super sick. But like, if you have a hammer, have you seen the hammer one?
Oh yeah,
you like uppercut the dude with the hammer, and then you just smash his head in like 4 times. Like, what the?
I saw one, or I did the one with like a sword, and he did like the what's it called?
Like Game of Thrones, like cut his.
No. It's like what's the word for it? When it's like delayed effect or something. When you cut in, it's in like samurai movies. When you cut someone's head off, and then everybody's just like hanging out for a second, and they're like,
and they get sliced in half.
Like that happened, and I was like, sick.
I saw if you end it with like the big sword. I think if I remember,
he does like a
you like stand over him and you just stab it into his.
It was cool how every weapon had its own animation.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, it was like every weapon type, right? Like the big sword, the spears.
Right. But there's a lot of weapon types.
There's a lot of weapon types.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what would happen if you ended with like a pot, like a throwable. I haven't done that.
I think
I was going to say you throw it. Like
it just shows you throwing it.
I think so.
I don't know about you guys, but I ended a lot of the levels with just a punch because, like, I just ran out of items around the area or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like this slow wind up, and you just punch the guy in the face. That's it. You win.
Yeah.
So the visuals overall, I like them. They match with the kind of the game and the narrative, right? Like we're talking about
Yeah.
this Western
Yeah. It
sort
looks
of
like it's
vibe.
a Western thing. Like it's very
Right.
Western.
I,
I do appreciate, just really quick, like I the juxtaposition between the violence and the pop up.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it like that, and I think that's a pretty funny way to look at it. Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
totally, maybe that's kind of, that could have influenced their decision to have it kind of look like a storybook, have it look, and all the characters are pretty whimsical looking with their,
Mm-hmm.
like they all wear
Yeah.
animal skins on their heads, like
Mhm.
animal heads on their heads, and it's got a very like a cartoon vibe to it, I guess.
Right. For
But
sure. What do you think, Casper, about the?
oh, pretty much what you guys said.
Yeah.
I liked most of the how it looked, but like Evan said earlier, I would have trouble keeping track of where everything is. I didn't know if it was just
yeah,
the camera or the colors. I
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah
Did you guys play it in handheld? Because I did today for the first time.
yeah I did.
I did. That's how. Yeah. That's how I
Yeah.
played the
It's way worse
handheld
in
on the Switch.
handheld. On the
Yeah.
TV, at least the big guys, or it's like everything's bigger, so you can kind of make out those minute details. But in the handheld, it was way worse with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
blending stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Any other thoughts on the visuals, gentlemen, before we jump into the last one, which will probably be a short one?
Well, I just want to say with the handheld, if it wasn't for the fact that it wasn't clear, it would be a perfect game for the Switch. Just because it's like
Oh,
short,
yeah.
little,
Yeah.
level by level.
I think that I don't know actually where this goes in, but I kind of ran into some glitches. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where we don't have a section. All right,
For,
let's
like,
start a new
Maybe, like,
section.
mechanics, right?
We'll make a general glitch section for the end, like
or like a
bugs,
miscellaneous something
miscellaneous section. Yeah.
like that. But yeah, like in handheld mode, like so like sometimes the game it would like take forever to load like between levels. But then like once you started, it would just drop me in the world and just die.
Oh, that sucks.
And then like sometimes I would fall off the edge, but maybe I fell off a place where they didn't make it so like that
Like
would
the
kill
collision
you.
was missing.
Yeah, right.
I
So
see. Yeah.
I think it's a collision thing. So like I
Yeah.
would fall down and I'm in this middle of like this canyon. And it's like black. I can't see anything. And I'm just like,
And
I
then a
should be dead
voice is
right
like,
now.
Cody,
Cody.
I am your father.
So like I had to like restart the level in that case. So I don't know, just like I mean, it is an indie game, right? So they can't,
Yeah.
put that nice polish on it.
I would like to know how many people worked on it, but
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, imagine they're like pretty small.
Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to
but
look
yeah,
up the
I did
company
run into
website.
a couple glitches. So I don't know if maybe the PC version might be a better place to play it. I don't know. Did you guys see like any performance issues while playing it on the Switch or?
The
think
frame
so.
rate would kind of like chug sometimes for like a second, but
I remember
pretty consistent.
when we're talking about that fire level, that like made a lot of the frame rate was not happy with the fire section. For me, I don't know if that's the case for most people. Maybe
I don't know. I mean that I don't remember it being particularly bad at that point,
Right.
but
I did
don't
get
know.
some hiccups when I tried it in handheld, but when it was docked, I didn't really have any problems.
yeah, maybe I should have docked it. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
but-
Sorry, I'm yawning. I'm so fucking tired.
Yeah.
Oh, do
Me
you
too.
guys think it was probably Unity, right?
No clue.
Yeah,
Honestly,
probably, but I don't
probably.
know. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
well, we say
Isn't there-
probably. What is honestly? We're like probably. Like, why? Because it's an indie game. Like, what's our reasoning?
I don't know. I
I'm
just feel like
saying-
a lot of games of this like style kind of
There's
I
not
don't
much
know.
point
Like,
for indie makers to make their own engine, so it's probably either Unity or Unreal.
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Is it's probably one of those two, but yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. It doesn't open with that. I don't think it opens with like a engine splash.
right. Now that you
Yeah.
mention it, because if it's Unity, you have to, or
You don't
Unreal
have-
2, you have to put those.
You don't have
You
to.
don't
No,
have
if you if you do, if
Okay.
you have free Unity, you do.
Yeah.
But if you like pay for your Unity license, you don't have to let people know
Oh.
it's Unity.
And a lot of people will
Um,
get rid of their Unity logo because some people kind of categorize that with like bad or cheap games, so they want to get
Yeah.
rid of it.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry about your glitches, though. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I feel like I'm just harping on all the negatives, but
Yeah, dude, you're killing the vibes in this piece.
well, it would suck because like I'm on like this super god run. I'm feeling great. You know what I mean? I'm just
Mhm.
ready to get the next one, and then I just drop and I'm just dead. I'm like, wait,
Mhm.
what? But
You're like, damn, I feel like Japanese people right now. I
I
have
have
emotions.
emotions.
Oh man, poor anyone who listens to this. Just this
From
segment's like,
Japan.
yeah, or just they're like, what the fuck is that guy talking about? Is he racist? Like,
I
I'm
am
not
Asian,
racist.
for the record. For all of you listening at home, keeping tallies.
So the last section that we typically talk about, although Kody jumped in with a quick miscellaneous thing, is the sound design and the music. My literal only note is that it's very Western. Like, I don't know, like it didn't jump out as me like at me as something that's particularly memorable. I can't hear any of the music in my head like right now.
Yeah,
And
just your classic. I don't even know what instrument it is that's always in a Western. It must be
It's like a
that
whistle.
like wow wow
yeah,
wow wow.
like a really
No,
like a long. I don't
that's
even
not
know
a
what it is.
whistle. That's like a violin or something.
No,
There are whistles, but
when I
Could be
think of
like
a
a.
western, I think of just someone whistling.
I would play a game that's like the audio is just somebody whistling every single time.
that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of sick.
Like Guitar Hero, but it's just whistling.
That would be so fucking hard, dude.
Well, hey, with the PS5 controller, you could blow right in there.
Yeah.
That's good for the whistle.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess the sounds of like making contact and stuff, those are pretty punchy. They felt pretty good to like
Mm.
like hit an
Yeah,
enemy.
the
Like
weapons did make interesting, unique sounds.
yeah. The
So,
sound of flesh being wrenched apart
yep,
was
yeah.
pretty satisfying. But yeah, I don't know. The audio though, another thing about it that didn't jump out at me as like super great.
Right.
So what I want to say, I guess, then after dumping on this game again, is that this game I do think is better than the sum of its parts. I think it's very charming. What it's going for is charming. It's funny. Like I said, I had a few sensible chuckles, and certainly the hyper violence in this like storybook cartoon thing is kind of silly, kind of Happy Tree Friends a little bit, like just silly.
Yep, that snap comparison.
Yeah.
Just the fact of like you're picking up a carrot and you're killing someone with a carrot. It's very John Wick, like pencil-y, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some places where there's like a fish hanging up, right? Grab the fish, you beat the shit out of people. So I think like you're saying, it is better than we are making it sound out to be. So wait, are we ready for final verdicts?
Well, does anybody have any quick thoughts on the sound other than me? Does everybody agree with me?
Yeah, it wasn't memorable. It was just there.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it was I couldn't really tell. Was it like different from like level to level?
Not that I know of.
No,
Was
I
it?
think it was. I think every level had its own soundtrack, like different song. Maybe
Okay.
not.
I have no clue.
That's unfortunately like not a good sign.
Right.
Like, I think the
but we
boss
didn't play.
had a
Well,
different
you
one.
guys didn't play too far beyond the first level, right? Like I finished the first 2 chapters.
I got to the second
like
act
world.
or whatever.
I got to the second act.
Yeah, I was like in the middle of the second act.
Yeah. So did you guys kill the boar?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm making sure, like, acts.
Like
right?
we got to like 2 whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say something I didn't mention a long time ago. So like the cast of villains, right?
Yeah.
This takes us way back to like I guess
to
like
the
narrative,
beginning.
right?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like kind of like Sly Cooper. I don't know. Just like there's
because
all
they
these different
animals?
villains. Not because they're animals, just because like oh this act you're fighting this one. Other games do it too, but when
Sly Cooper
and
was
it's like
that.
everything's kind of themed, so like his enemies are themed.
Totally.
based
Right.
off him. I was getting Sly Cooper vibes, but
Yeah, no, Cy Cooper is a good example of something like that. Like
Yeah.
not a thing that's as common in like, or at least not that I see as much in games anymore. Like the journey to the bad guy, the journey to the boss being like so long, so drawn out, and like so unique, I guess, to like, or
yeah,
like,
each one gives you a clue to where the next guy is. And
Oh
yeah.
man, Sly Cooper just brought back memories of when I was a kid. Yeah.
Dude, let's
I'm
play
I'm
Sly
down I'm
Cooper.
down to dig out
was-
the PS2 and play some PS2 games. But yeah, all right. So I guess with that, I think we are ready for the verdicts. So let's see. Who will I make go first? Casper.
All right.
What does it say on the stamp?
Disclaimer: I got this game for $2, but it was really good, so I would get it.
Only if you pay $2 for it, though.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's worth $2. I'll pay it.
Worth
It's worth $2.
Yeah. That's my
Um,
stamp.
Yeah. Is it my turn for stamp
Sure. Yeah, I'll
time?
go last.
Yeah, I think so. What's going on the stamp is like it's a good game,
Yeah.
but maybe you don't play it on the Switch handheld. I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know, playing it on like the TV is probably better as far as visually and probably performance as well. So,
Oh, definitely.
so yeah, maybe the Switch isn't the best place to play it, but
Yeah, I'd say my stamp is like this game is greater than the sum of its parts, and 7 years ago, you know, I guess I probably should have tried to get all my thoughts out before I tried to write the stamp, because the stamp's going to be really long.
I mean the stamp's still going.
The
as
stamp's
you're
still
even
going. Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
No, I
what's
know.
on it.
There's like ellipses, like wow, this, and then like parentheses. Wow, the stamp is sure is getting long, and parentheses. But it's fun, and I think it's worth at least
Yeah,
trying.
it's a lot of fun.
It's worth at least trying. Stamp
There
it.
you go.
That's a
Boom.
big stamp.
Yeah. All right, fellas. It's Cody's turn to pick the game. No, Casper's turn to pick
Casper's
the game.
turn. All right.
Sorry, my bad. So Casper, reveal to our audience what is next podcast's game.
Next podcast is going to be Psychonauts.
Very excited. Love Psychonauts.
The Double Fine platforming classic. I'm pretty
Would
excited.
you say it's a cult classic or is
Definitely.
it?
Yeah,
No, it's not.
yeah.
It. I don't think it had widespread enough success to be
Did
considered.
it only come on the PS2 and the GameCube? Wasn't
No,
even
I think
on
it was
the
just the Xbox. I thought it was just the original Xbox, dude.
I played it on PS2, so
Oh, really?
I don't know what it came out on.
Yep. Okay, it was on the PlayStation and Xbox, not GameCube, and Windows, because I have it on Windows.
nice.
I have it through Steam.
Oh yeah, is that gonna like have the stupid Windows like
No,
bar and
I
stuff?
no, I
don't
I'm
think
just
so.
reading.
I think this was before that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about it. I was just reading Microsoft Windows off the Wikipedia page. It's PC, it's Steam. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so if you guys want to play it with us, it's gonna be on Steam.
Have
You
we
can
ever
play it.
invited people to play it with us? Yeah, play
Yeah, I
it with
think we
us. That's a
have.
great
Yeah,
idea.
Play it with us. Comment what you
Like,
think of
yeah.
BloodRoots.
Yeah, did we, if we'd played more, would we have had a different opinion? Like,
Yeah, if you're
let
the
us know.
developer,
Yeah.
tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah. Well, if we don't get your game, like, let us know. We're just dudes. We don't know shit. But yeah, really excited for Psychonauts, gentlemen. I think it's gonna be a fucking super good episode.
Yeah, I love Psychonauts.
Yeah.
Dude.
So thanks.
I dream about Psychonauts. Did you know that?
Like last
Every
night?
night.
Oh, every night.
Every night.
Nice. So yeah, thanks, gentlemen, for participating with me in this this dog and pony show. Is that a phrase? Something like that.
If you're a boomer, it's a phrase.
What did you call me? A fogey? I learned the word fogey because
They
Kody called me a
like
fogey.
a year ago.
I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And you were like, you're old. I'm like, I'm 24. Leave me alone. I'm not old yet.
oh god.
But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. We are gonna be more active on Twitter. We haven't had a Twitter presence yet, and I'm gonna be
Twitter's
Captain
hard.
Twitter over here. And I
Oh,
will take care of
nice.
Twitter. So I'm taking over Twitter duties. So if you guys want us to see some shit posting, but mostly about the games we're playing, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on every platform we're on. Any percent podcast, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for listening, and good night, my loved ones. Sweet dreams.